We're back, and this is our 2014 Game of the Year deliberations. And today we're going to tackle most disappointing game. Matthew Kershaw, why don't you run down the list for me?
Let's see, we got Destiny, very disappointing. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, also disappointing. Sunset Overdrive, disappointing. Watch Dogs, massively disappointing. Not, biased in any way here, by the way. Assassin's Creed Unity, holy shit, disappointing. And Elder Scrolls Online, what?
Are you surprised that I put that on there, or surprised that that game is disappointing?
I'm surprised that game exists at this point.
Oh, it's apparently still going. They haven't released the console versions yet, but I think that was out in March or something. I subscribed for about 6 months because I had it on auto-renew and couldn't be asked to cancel it. But it was taking it out in like 3-month chunks, so it would lose like £25 to go.
Yeah.
It was, holy fuck. Like, I don't know, I played in the beta, so I kind of knew what I was getting into beforehand.
I remember you showing me stuff that happened in the beta, and yeah.
Oh, that game is like, it's just boring. Like, some of the environments look really nice, and the character creator is pretty cool. Like, the combat is shit because you're doing like, hold down the left mouse button to guard or whatever. Like, who wants to do that? Really?
Yeah.
And it's like half Skyrim, half like MMO. So you're like hitting crits when you shouldn't be, and fucking bad game. And if you look at it from the perspective of everyone liked Skyrim, and it was a pretty good game, this is pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I feel like if they just remade Skyrim and made it an MMO, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, well, I didn't really want that game to begin with, so that's why I think it doesn't win this, because I didn't, for it to be disappointing, one must have liked it beforehand.
Mm.
And I don't know, like if I could just get a co-op Skyrim game, if I could jump into your world, we could exchange like friend codes together. You and I quest or something. Like that would be way cooler.
Let me just make a QR code of my Dragonborn.
Yeah, we can exchange knees or whatever. Shit.
Right. Let's see.
What a train wreck! What a train wreck of a game. Do you want to talk about Watch Dogs? That was also out around March.
Yeah. I wasn't hyped for it. I don't think you were hyped for it at all.
The rest of the world was, though.
Yeah, I saw so many people online going, this is going to be the best game ever. It looks amazing. It's going to be so in-depth.
They said that for like 3 years, though, didn't they? Like, from the time it was first shown, like 2 years ago on E3.
Yeah.
People have just been all over this idea, and frankly, I never thought it looked good at any point.
Neither did I. I bought it on an impulse after watching some stuff on YouTube, and I thought, okay, this could be fun. Oh my god, I was wrong. The game was broken. I experienced, glitches all over the place. It was just so boring and mundane.
Oh, the characters like Niall or somebody Pierce. What's his name?
I don't know his actual name. I just call him Niall.
Well, whatever. The main character is like the most Ubisoft boilerplate protagonist you can imagine.
Mm.
Story goes nowhere. It's like they make a bullshit. Like 1 minute you actually have to hack and like doing a shitty puzzle. The next minute you're just like making cars explode because you press X.
Yeah.
Press square or whichever. Like, fucking the game's all over the place. Like, tonally it's really inconsistent. I don't think it's a very interesting open world.
The open world is really boring. There's no... I liked there were... I think this was Watch Dogs. It could be GTA I'm thinking of here. But
it's good. It's probably GTA.
There was, like, cop chases, and you could follow the cop, and they would actually pull up and start shooting at people.
I don't remember. Like that.
That might have been GTA.
You couldn't shoot and drive, could you?
No, that was so annoying.
Oh, fuck. Fuck that game.
It's like, you're not supposed to kill people, yet I can trigger an explosion and kill, like, pedestrians everywhere.
It's so boring, though. Like, my god. Like, even the shooting was bad. Did you like the online any? I thought that was disappointing. But I was actually disappointed about that. Because it was meant to be, like, super smooth and people are just in your game and stuff. Whereas instead we're going to do this, like, shitty... I'm going to run around with my phone out and see if I can identify you.
I actually like the online in that. I was only ever hacked once by other people. I would usually find them. But I liked it. It was really cool. It was interesting.
I was engaged with maybe, like, 5 or 6 hackings one way or the other.
Mm.
They were all bad interactions. There was no point did I feel like I was being hunted or I was actually hunting. It was like, oh, this dude in a Lamborghini just drove past, took his phone out, and now he's driving off really quickly. Great.
I had people that actually hid and blended in with crowds and stuff.
Well, that's the problem with online, isn't it? Is that to get these interactions, it's so...
Yeah.
So potluck.
I I liked it. Like I said, I enjoyed like looking around for people. I discovered that if you're just in free roam, if you press start to pause the game and the background doesn't pause, then you're someone's in your world because it's on multiplayer and you can't just pause the game. And so
Alright.
once I discovered that, I would always drive around and pause it periodically to see if anyone was in my game. So I always had the advantage if they were trying to hack me.
Did you just get like super paranoid? Like every couple of steps you were like hitting start, hitting
No,
square square.
that's what Watch Dogs wanted you to feel when you played the game. It's like, oh, anybody could be in your world at any point. It's like, no, you know when someone is hacking you.
You want to smash your Connect up and wear pants around the house. That's the sad part. If like the many cameras of my room will also be pointed at my crotch when I'm playing games.
I wonder
The
why.
dumb height of my bed, but whatever. Get a show, enjoy it. I actually enjoyed that about Watch Dogs, was the part where you could like, there's those scripted scenes where you'd like hack a camera and it'd be in someone's webcam and they'd be like having an argument with their wife or something.
Yeah,
I thought that was super cool.
there were some really dark ones in there.
I don't think I ever got to them other than like somebody proposing or something.
There's like
Like,
one where a
great.
guy was like sat in the living room with a gun. You could hear a kid crying in the background, and he like walks into the bedroom and the camera goes off.
That's not funny, I shouldn't laugh, but that's pretty good. Like, maybe that game shouldn't win this then.
No, even still, there were very few things that game did right.
Like, yeah, I don't know that I ever want to see a Watch Dogs 2, but unfortunately, myself and like 4 million others pre-ordered it, so it's gonna happen.
Right, Assassin's Creed Unity.
That game is like fucked, dude. Like, oh my god, this frame rate's like, I've been trying to. I don't have a way of counting frames myself, so I can only go off feel, which is like a big part of that game. But if you go on like Digital Foundry and shit, like a lot of the time it's like sub 20 frames a second.
Yeah.
Like it's averaging like 25 or something, like post patch.
Wow.
So it feels like shit, and like they've fucked up the combat, something awful. It's going to be in the review that's going to be up before this, but like, just like they've taken out the part where you get rewarded for doing well. So in Assassin's Creed, traditionally, post 1 anyway, you would like block and counter and dodge and do all these things against these many people you were fighting, and then you would like, if you pulled them off, you would get the executions where you could like dart between people, and every time you parried, you could like kill somebody instantly in some like super well animated move. In this, there's none of that. They've just taken it out to make it harder, I guess. Because you want to like go back to the stealthy routes, but they've also taken out like stealth mechanics, like groups of people you can hide in. Like you can still stealth into the crowd, but there's no.
Didn't you have to buy Helix coins to get those abilities?
Well, that's the other thing I realized. Like that game was harder because you die a lot faster, and you'll get like enemies warping like a meter towards you. Like they will not move their feet, and they will somehow stab you. Like it's bizarre. And you'll die. I've died loads, and it's super frustrating. It's why I'm still like fighting with the game this late on. And I guess that's part of the thing, isn't it? Every time you die, you get a prompt on the screen that says, "Upgrade your weapons and armor on harder missions so you don't die as much." I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like game's telling me I need to not die as much. And then you realize you can buy all of them with real game money, and that's really the only reason that message is there.
Yep.
And that's probably the only reason the game is so shittily hard. And like, it's not even like that's not even the start of the problems, but that's like what I think of when I think of how that game is fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously it's technically flawed, but it's like trying to suck money out of you, or at least that's the perception, because it's not fair otherwise. Like you can buy with Helix coins the ability to stab people on the ground when you've knocked them over. You can't interact with them when they're on the floor otherwise. And then you go to like the DLC menu, you can theoretically buy and equip guillotine guns, for example. But then when you try to, you get redirected to the DLC, and that's a pack you have to buy.
Guillotine guns, what are they?
They're like rifles with big swords on the end.
Ah, right.
But that game is gross, and it's not very good, and it's not designed very well, and there's like huge leaps of logic in the story. Like characters will be with you in one scene, and then forget all about what you're doing in the next scene, and ask you about it. And then in one scene they'll just appear out of nowhere, knowing where you were going to be in that mission. And like knowing all of that would happen even though they haven't seen any of the conversations. Like, it's fucking bad. Like, it's bad even if it worked well.
Wow.
I was pretty excited for it coming out of E3. Because I thought like the demo showed really well.
Yeah, I like the idea of playing with friends and going on these missions and stuff, but
It's not even about the revolution either, because that's a lot of what I like about it, is the setting and the themes and stuff. And like, It's just not about the revolution. Like, the revolution's happening, And of course, there's these named characters and stuff, but you're just killing them, and there's no attachment to them. There's no reason to do it. It's a disappointing game. Do you want to talk about Halo? Another disappointing game this year. That was also fucked.
Yeah, I bought an Xbox One for Titanfall and Halo, and even though I really like the Xbox, I've come to get more games before Halo came out. But
Like
Halo was
Watch Dogs.
don't talk about that. But, yeah, Halo was like my big thing of why I wanted an Xbox, and Halo the Master Chief Collection was just so broken. It still is broken. It takes a long time to find multiplayer games. You will just disconnect or get put into multiplayer games where you're against an entire enemy team on your own.
I mean, we've talked about this on the podcast before, so go check that out, like episode 8 or 7 or something. But I mean, it's not just a multiplayer though. Like the co-op was fucked as well. Like the frame rate would just die for some reason every time we tried to play a Halo 4 mission.
Yeah, in Halo 4 we had to alternate who was host because it would just die for one of us.
If one of us had a we'd frequently be disconnected, like during missions, during load screens, before missions, while in the lobby. Every time that happened, both of us had to dashboard and go back in and hope we weren't disconnected before we started the next game.
I still have not technically beat Halo 1 co-op because it disconnects me every time I finish that mission with you.
Yeah, I mean, the problems are legion, and like I've had build errors which have just broken the entire thing. I crashed to the dashboard, I guess. I was going to say desktop. But I crashed, I feel like 3 or 4 times I tried to play that game. Granted, I haven't played it since the most recent patch, but, it's bad. It's bad, it's a mess.
Didn't you have a weird bug where, all of the menu options were grayed out?
They weren't grayed out. It was kind of like looking at an analog TV with static. Like, there was just, red and black lines, or white and black lines, sorry, just all over the images if the images had been distorted by the signal or something. It was super weird. I think I have an image somewhere. We should probably post it. But my favorite one, which you'll be able to find on the YouTube channel, is one of the missions loaded, one of the cutscenes loaded, with no shadows. So you're just panning through this scene that's going to be kind of really moody on the deck of the Infinity, and you can just see really blurry character models and bad textures that you were never meant to see because they should have been in the shadow. It's fucking great. That's not even half of the problems in that game, but
that video is up on YouTube. It just needs to be published.
It will be by the time this goes up, I suspect. But, yeah, check that out. Check out the review. It's not a good game. Oh, which brings us to Sunset Overdrive, another Microsoft exclusive.
Yep, you played this one.
Well, you never thought this game looked good, did you?
No, I thought it looked like ass.
Last year we discussed a lot of the games in E3. I think at the start of this year we discussed a lot of the most anticipated, didn't we? And you were all over The Division, which that's never coming out. But
that's a Ubisoft game, so I know it's going to be broken and terrible.
Yeah, after this year. And I was all over Sunset Overdrive because I thought that game had so much style, and it does have some of that style. But the part where you have to play it, and where everybody's an insufferable fucking idiot, it's bad. The game is awful. My biggest regret of the year is that I didn't give that a lower score, so I could have given Assassin's Creed, because I think that game is better than Sunset Overdrive. Whereas instead, you're going to look at the website now, and it's going to be there's some sort of parity between them. But
yeah.
Fuck, Sunset Overdrive is my biggest disappointment of the year, personally, I think. From I expected way more from that game than I ever was going to get, but...
I never thought it looked good or looked interesting.
Oh, it's so janky. The combat is, ugh. Moving on to the creme de la creme of this category, Destiny. The sad thing about, not sad thing at all, but the best thing you can say about the sound design is really good in Destiny. The soundtrack is really good in Destiny. The graphics are really good. The art I really like. Because obviously most of those things are subjective, but you can appreciate them. And the game never had any technical problems that I suffered. I know some people had connection errors on the 360 version, but the game is pretty smooth when you compare it to things like Master Chief and anything Ubisoft shut out this year.
Yeah.
Fucking that game has I don't know. It's not really a game. There's 6 hours of content you're told to replay many times. I think I like the multiplayer, the competitive multiplayer, the Crucible.
I would say it's disappointing in the aspect where in the trailers they were like, you can go all the way out here and you've got this big world to explore, and that just didn't happen in the game.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever really expected that. Like, I was disappointed in that. Like, the world that they've built is really cool, but they've like segregated all of the cool shit, all of the cool lore and the history and the characters you can read about in the iPhone and Android app, the Grimoire cards.
Yeah.
But like the actual story of the game is garbage. I don't really like the performance of Peter Dinklage. Like that entire campaign is Peter Dinklage telling you to go somewhere for something with a grand name. You get in there and either killing it or pressing X on a terminal or something. Like, that's it. Like, super disappointing. But I like things about it. Like, I keep playing it. I was playing it just the other day. I stopped playing Assassin's Creed Unity so I could go and grind Crucible marks in Destiny. Like, there's something there, clearly, but in terms of the next Bungie game, it's certainly nothing amazing.
I'm not going to look forward to Destiny 2. So
I mean, I will, because you bring a character forward, and a character's pretty swag. I mean, even though none of my characters have names, they're all technically Mad Maxman 1 if you go on there, but
yep.
Like, whatever. That game's not the most disappointing here. That game has some things for it, at least. I mean, I'm bummed out at it, but I look at Sunset Overdrive and I weep inside of what could have been. How do you feel about them? Well, like, frankly, let's put this out there. I'm super disappointed in Halo.
Yeah, I am disappointed in... Out of the list, I would say Unity and Halo.
Yeah, Unity. Unity's sad. I really want to play a good Assassin's Creed game. I'm tempted to go out and buy Rogue after this.
My little brother,
so good.
My little brother is buying Rogue, so I'm probably just going to steal it from him like I did with Assassin's Creed 4.
I don't know if there's anything interesting in that game, but Assassin's Creed 4 is great.
I don't want to play as a Irish Templar because you'll have like massive Irish accent on him.
I think you're. Yeah, it's not.
Knowing
I don't know that he's actually Irish, but he sounds really like he's putting on the accent, I guess.
But Ubisoft, they never do accents well.
No, which is bad considering they're French and there's barely any French in Unity. But yeah, I don't know. I'm bummed out about Unity. You're right. I think this comes down to Halo and Unity. Personally, they should have both been great. And Halo was a mess, but Unity's just like creatively bad as well. Like, not just technically.
Yeah.
Like, I think Sunset Overdrive's awful, but clearly a lot of people saw something in it.
I think Unity's the most disappointing here. I mean, say what you will about Halo, you can still play the game. I mean, sometimes it breaks, but you can play the game and you are not restricted with in-app or in-game purchases.
No. You could earn the money in these things in Unity, but they're so huge, the amounts of money, and there's that many sinks. It's like, unless I'm going to grind the open world for 20 hours, I'm never going to get enough Florence to buy this sweet saber.
Yeah. But, I mean, I was looking forward to a new Assassin's Creed. I thought it looked great, and the co-op idea was super interesting, but
it's just not.
After seeing the game, how broken it is with the frame rate and the glitches.
But it's not like it's just broken. It's not interesting to play. Like, especially the co-op. I mean, that was just basically a normal mission, wasn't it? But with two people. Therefore harder. And we're going to rubber band around these enemies loads. But, whatever. You're right, that is probably the most disappointing. I'm happy to see that take this category.
So am I.
Assassin's Creed Unity, most disappointing game of 2014?
Yep, as said by www.GameDropZone.com.
And what are we going to do tomorrow?
Tomorrow will be a big one, Game of the Year.
Yeah, the big GOTY. The GOTY, as I like to call it. I don't call it that.
Goats.
This just got really weird when you think about what goats are. Anyway, see you tomorrow for Game of the Year.
Auf Wiedersehen.